so unfortunately, Donald Trump didn't end up pardoning Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, Reality Winter, any of these other, whistleblowers or people who helped expose the crimes of the U.S. empire. And it looks like he didn't end up doing this for very selfish reasons. Shouldn't be surprising given Donald Trump is a huge narcissist and seems to frankly only be concerned with saving his ass in this case. So from CNN, Trump once, remind me tomorrow, once entertained pardons for Assange and Snowden, but decided against it because he did not want to anger Senate Republicans who will soon determine whether he's convicted, and that impeachment trial will happen in the Senate at some point, and who told him that they felt strongly about not granting clemency to Assange or Snowden. I mean, Jesus Christ. Multiple GOP lawmakers had sent messages through the aides that they felt strongly about not granting clemency to Assange or Snowden. I mean, especially Assange, if Trump had actually went through with pardoning Assange, I think that probably would have been the best thing that he had done in his whole 4 years in office. Obviously, there were so many horrible things that Trump was part of in his time in office, whether it's his, continuing escalation against migrants and ICE's further Gestapoization, Trump's assault and his administration's assault on the environment through deregulation, opening up all these, pristine environments to be exploited for, their natural resources, assassinating General Soleimani, his, overt racism and white supremacy and xenophobia, his, banning people coming here from predominantly Muslim countries. There was the sanctions on Venezuela, etc. There's a lot of horrible things that Trump had done in his time in office, and if he had actually went through and pardoned Julian Assange, I think that would be, one of the only good things that his time in office would have actually resulted in. Frankly, I can't really think of any other ones. Maybe somewhat at certain points decreasing tensions between the U.S. and North Korea. That was good. But if he had done this, I think this, would have really been a great thing, frankly. And didn't happen because he's a selfish asshole, only looking out for himself. And I guess that, frankly, shouldn't be surprising. Here is Tucker Carlson. I almost always completely disagree with what Tucker Carlson is saying, but he was calling on him to pardon Julian Assange and John Kirikou.
And in both cases tonight,
which is a good thing.
His final acts as president, Donald Trump has the opportunity
but he
to
didn't.
make that right, to pardon both of them. We told you that last time, we told you it before. We're hearing tonight that neither man, particularly Julian Assange, we don't know if this is true, is likely to get a pardon.
He didn't.
Well, apparently, because Republicans in the Senate, and by Republicans in the Senate we mean Mitch McConnell,
Piece of shit,
the leader
turtle
of
man,
Republicans in the Senate, has sent word over to the White House: if you pardon Julian Assange, we are much more likely to convict you in an impeachment trial. Now, is it legal?
That's how fucking sick and disgusting Senate Republicans and especially Mitch McConnell are. I mean, the only crime Julian Assange committed was exposing the crimes of the U.S. empire, and he has already paid a tremendous price and continues to
hold that over a president's head. We're not lawyers. We don't know. It's certainly wrong. But more than that, it tells you everything about their priorities.
Yeah.
At a time when this country in some ways is coming apart, we're at a pivot point in American history. And if you're watching this show, you probably feel pretty threatened, and for good reason. There are people on the other channels saying they're going to hunt you down like a terrorist. At that moment, what is Mitch McConnell, your designated defender in the United States Senate, worrying about? He's worrying about protecting the uniparty in Washington. Not his party, his party and the Democratic Party in permanent Washington. They're the reason both these men have been locked up, because both these men embarrassed
he's right.
Washington. That's their crime.
Security state, U.S. empire.
And his priority in the final hours of the Trump administration is to make certain that they remain punished for doing that. It tells you everything. We don't know what's going to happen in the end. We've got a number of hours left for the president to make that decision. But we want you to know how that decision is being made, because it's deeply revealing.
Don't agree with Tucker Carlson on pretty much anything, but he's completely correct in stating that Julian Assange should have been pardoned, along with Edward Snowden, obviously, too. There's Assange's mom, just in full list of final Trump pardons. So much for Drain the Swamp and taking down the deep state. My journalist son, Julian Assange, brutally persecuted for doing more to expose the deep state than any other journalist in history, is not on the list. Again, not surprising, again, because Trump has always been looking out for himself, and he wasn't willing to maybe have to sacrifice a little bit to right the massive wrongs that have been and continue to be perpetrated against Julian Assange. And I mean, I don't have a lot of hope that Biden would pardon him. Do you? I also don't have, but potentially maybe what the Biden administration might do is not try to appeal the UK judge Barrett's decision that she ruled against Assange being able to be extradited to the U.S. Maybe they let off a little bit. We'll see, but I didn't have a whole lot of hope to begin with that Trump was going to do this. But obviously it would have been great if he had. It's just too bad. Assange has already paid such a heavy price for exposing the crimes of the U.S. empire, and will continue to. Hopefully something will change, but we'll see. Peace, much love. Subscribe for more content.